Good evening, boys and girls. I'm so happy you could join me on this beautiful Tuesday evening. Now, we're going to talk about something today because Pastor Andrew has been talking for the last 2 weeks about God's love. And so we're going to focus a little bit about that. Now, I want you to look at the things I have in front of me. Now, each one is different, but they all have something in common. Now, what is it that they have in common? We have like a little glass thing, and it has numbers on the side, and we have some spoons, and they're all different sizes, and we have this little tin cup, and it has numbers on the sides as well, and then we have this thing, and it has numbers on it. Now, what do all of these things have in common? What do you think? I'll give you a few minutes to talk with your mom or dad. Okay, if you said that these are things we use to measure with, you're correct. We use this for measuring liquids. We use this for measuring, that's a tablespoon, a teaspoon. We have a half of a teaspoon and a quarter of a teaspoon. We measure dry ingredients with this, and we measure length in inches, and even on one side, it's centimeters. So these are all things to measure with. Well, today we're going to talk about how we measure God's love. Can we measure God's love with a measuring cup? Not very deep. Can we measure God's love with measuring spoons? Can we measure God's love with a tin cup? Or better yet, can we use this tape measure? Let's see, can we reach real high? No, I don't think it's going to go quite high enough to measure God's love. Well, how do we know God loves us? We know because He first loved us. Did you know that God loved us before we were even born? God is the one who gave life and breath to all living things. God made covenants with our ancestors, and He kept those. God gave us rules to live by so we could be more like Him. Most of all, God sent His Son to us so that He could be an atoning sacrifice, so that one day we could join them in heaven. The earliest disciples knew Jesus. They knew Him by watching Him and listening to Him tell His story. They observed how He was with people, how He helped people, how He loved people, what miracles He performed. They watched Him, and they were able to see God's love through Jesus. In today's time, we see God's love through the stories in our Bible, and also by watching those who love us and kind of watching ourselves and others as we show how we love for others. Now, how do we love like God? How do we love like God? Well, we love God when we love other people. Now, this is how we do it. When someone is hurting, we help. When someone is sad, we make things better for them. When someone needs food or clothing, we go out and get those things that they need. When someone needs a friend, we become one. And when someone feels left out, we invite them into our group of friends. This all shows God's love. Now I'm going to do another little demonstration about how God's love is shown to us and how we can demonstrate it to others. Now I have a bowl, and in this little plastic bowl is a little bit of water. And I'm going to draw a heart. And this heart is going to represent our heart without God's love. Now that's our heart without the love of God. And so I'm going to draw a picture of us right above that heart. And once we know that we are loved by God, we feel all warm inside. So I'm going to take a red crayon and I'm going to color in that heart with lots of red, because that shows God's love for us. We feel all warm inside when we know God loves us. Now, how are we going to show God's love to others? Well, let me draw some stick men. They're going to represent the other people that we want to show God's love to. And I'm going to draw them above us. I'll draw 3. I'm sure we have many more than 3 people, but we have 3 friends that we want to show God's love with. Okay, so first we had an empty heart. That was out without God's love. Then once we felt God's love, it was all warm. Now, here's us. And I want to show you how God's love, by Him loving us, how we can demonstrate that the love not only goes to us, but look, it also carries on up to the others. Because we demonstrate God's love by showing others that we care and doing those things that I told you about today. And look how it reached out to all of our friends. I hope you have a wonderful day and evening, and I'll be back with you again on Sunday for another message. Have a wonderful week. See you on Sunday. Bye.